Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Talking Busch. We're back. The Gophers are back. The Vikings, if they didn't turn the ball over, would be back. Your New London Spicer Wildcats put a pounding on the Albany Huskies.
Always
They're
feels
back.
good.
Love it.
Dover Yoda's back out of all teams.
And Dover Yoda's throwing for 1,400 yards to one kid. Don't even know how that's possible, but it's happening.
It's their new offensive coordinator.
Who is it?
Ryan Hartman.
Not familiar. Shotgun, throw the ball deep every time. You're
Yeah,
fast.
the oop-de-oop offense.
Yeah.
Love
Overload one side, burn them one on the other.
Yep.
Obviously.
Boom. Duh. Well, I am Dave Pikus. I'm your host. I'm going to take you through this about an hour journey. We are live from our South Minneapolis studios. Beautiful, beautiful little home here. On my left, I have Matt Train. You're right.
What's up?
How you doing tonight, Matt?
Very good, very good. Fresh off a win, finally off the schneid.
How's that feel?
It feels good. Feels good. It's been a tough year. Steadily climbing in the power rankings. I didn't publish them yet, but continuing to move up. So
Love it.
yeah, and my division is terrible. So
Yeah, rocking
all
the
good.
Nick Gree Foundation hat tonight.
Indeed. The bright blue, red on bright blue. I dig it.
It's a hot look. Real hot look.
Thank you.
To my right, he's wearing a brand new tag still on jersey because he is riding high. He's all
Sure
in.
am.
Hashtag all in. Derek Hartman. Derek, how you doing tonight?
I feel great. I'm ready for the week. It's a real big matchup for me.
Nice.
Let's go.
Who's that jersey so fresh? What's the name on the back? It's even spelled right. My homeboy.
We got it.
And also wearing a Halloween costume this evening. He's a lumberjack, ladies and gentlemen. We have Joe Mauer coming to us with us live. Retirement
no.
has not been treating you well.
I'm going for Walter Matthau sans Grumpy Old Men.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Colder
Yeah.
than a witch's titty out
Nice. Very nice.
Got my free Twins hat that Derek and I won, where there was like 5,000 people at the game.
You won
it?
Super
Yeah.
sweet.
I mean, it was given to us. I think we could have had like 3 or 4 if we wanted to.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, you could have.
John is still writing in his diary about that night.
He is.
Derek
am.
is too.
It happens. They were very excited. I saw them after the game. Beat John in a few video games after that. That's
Oh,
really all that matters
Jesus.
from the evening.
We forgot that part of the night.
I love it. Well, Friday, speaking of warm clothes that John is wearing, Derek and I braved the weather.
Mhm.
Got out to a couple breweries, then did a little tailgating, and then got to the game before it got a little wet.
Yep. Did Blackstack first?
We did do Black Stack Brewing. First, brewery review. Space, unbelievable. If
Never
you
heard
get
of it.
there, get there. The beer, also good. Very friendly staff. They'll tell you anything you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
They use some pretty fun words like dank and juice bomb in their kind of descriptions of the beers. So everybody give that a try. Take Derek along if you want to. He's pretty knowledgeable in all of that they have. Follow that up with a little Surly Pizza.
Yep.
Pizza review. Derek?
Good, not great.
I thought it was good, but good. I'd give it a +7.
How many
And
bushes
you're
how many
familiar
bushes
with the
would you
pizza
give it?
scale.
Yeah,
You know what a 7.2 means.
Yep. We had a non-traditional pizza. Derek and I split one. Maybe a fatal flaw in the day, but because we didn't really eat the rest of the time, and we
I
had
did
a lot of
fine.
beers. I did fine too until the next day. Then the game itself.
Well, don't forget the highlight with Max meeting us and.
Well, Max came.
We did
know,
crack
Nice.
a $60 bottle at Surly, 'cause why not?
Because why not? Because we're athletes.
Because you
now.
roll like that.
Yep.
We had a 2010 Surly Darkness. Very delicious.
It was great. Holds up well.
I put it on my Insta. It was great. Had a lot of likes,
Lots
a lot
of
of
likes.
comments.
Yep.
So that's great.
Gotta get the Insta hits.
Football itself. We had a great offensive night. Other than the little bit in the fourth quarter where we shelled up and kind of didn't go with our potent attack until the last drive.
Yeah, I mean, as good as the first 3 quarters were, that fourth quarter was brutal.
You know, as I actually rewatched it twice since
Jesus.
then.
Get a life.
And I actually watched it instead of the Vikings game on Sunday.
Of course you did.
Because who wants to watch that horseshit team fumble it up and down the field? Anyway, the defense kind of changed up in the fourth quarter. We dropped back after. Well, that first long touchdown that we got burned on the outside, that was just a great play. We went 1-on-1 with no safety help over the top, and he burned him, and that was a great play.
Sure.
After that, we fell back into that kind of ride 'em zone where we play 8 yards off the ball and are scared and have no confidence in our guys.
Yep.
And that proved to burn us for 3 more touchdowns, 3 more touchdowns, and that kind of sucks. But once the Indiana offense got rolling, that it was inevitable that they were going to tie it up. I think on most teams, and then for us to respond like we did, I thought it was very positive.
Yeah. How did you feel about the stadium in the fourth quarter? What was their reaction like?
I would say from the video it looked good.
Why
Very
didn't you?
We had to leave because it was raining, and I had my sister there, which is fine. I mean, I got her to stay that long.
True.
So I was very happy. Some negotiating that we had to see the national champion dance team perform.
Yep.
Which they did.
All they do is win.
It's true. So very fun. Overall recap. Very, very positive coming out. I thought the defense played really well for 3 quarters. I thought they schemed well early on. Once we dropped back into kind of that no pressure umbrella defense, we really kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and I don't think we're going to do that going forward. Tough break for Shannon, not going to play this week. We get
it was fun to
Ibrahim
see him back for
Isn't
once.
it fun when we have a good running back in?
Yeah.
It really opens up the pass.
It really does. And you know, our receivers are good.
Yep.
Actually, not just young good. They're good.
It's very true. I'm very even more PJ positive.
Oh God.
Out of this week.
He took some heat this week.
He did.
He did.
Deservedly so.
But I mean,
I tweeted it.
to have some, you sent it via text message too.
I made sure everybody knew what was happening.
Just a really young offense, and they were very resilient to come out
Young, you say? Are you
and
sure?
have a freshman throw to a freshman on a big play like that and get the W. Phenomenal. Let's move on to Sunday's game.
All right.
I want to hear AFF's reaction. Let's not skip over that segment.
Well,
Come on.
I think
Fu-
he's
I want
pretty,
the juicy
everybody's
stuff.
pretty
Yeah.
agreeable of what.
Yeah,
just
full
said.
disclosure. I mean, I didn't watch the game. Saw some of the highlights and stuff. I haven't watched most of the games.
Yep.
Oh,
But-
weird.
Sounds about right.
But, yeah, you know what? A win is a win, and that's all you ask for.
From what he read from Royce on Sunday.
I didn't read
Yeah.
Ricey. I did. I did read Gopher Hole last week though, and he was not friendly to PJ Fleck.
Okay.
But it was the same. It was the same. It was the same message I think that everyone brings. Nobody wants him fired, but
Gotta
man,
do better.
it would be nice if he showed a little bit of promise at some point.
Yep. And we did.
Yeah, it was a good win.
Well,
2 more.
and, yep, 2 more.
Moving on. Who cares? Let's move on.
One note that I had, our quality win against Fresno State. They are now 7-1 and ranked number 20 in the nation.
Yes, they are.
So that was a big non-con win, and hopefully that one's going to be the one that pushes us into a bowl game down the way. Better bowl game.
John, Iowa win again?
No, they shit it down their leg against Penn State. They were
Oh,
up
weird.
12-0.
God,
Kirk
you could lose a
again
lead.
gives the
You
thumbs
can-
up for a
Weird.
trick play.
Huh.
Yeah,
Third play from scrimmage, we ran a flea flicker.
saw that. It's beautiful.
All right.
Cool story, Hansel.
I'm looking you right in the eye, John.
Are you?
All right. Well, let's move on to Sunday. Big game for the Purple, playing the Saints at home. Kind of a rematch of the Minneapolis Miracle game from last year.
Good Lord.
Anybody want to talk about this one? I don't have much for it.
I do. I'm interested to hear what you guys think, and if it's was that a bad loss? Do you come away from it feeling good? What do you think?
Derek, go ahead.
I think it's hard to feel good.
Relative good considering the fact you lost. Do you feel okay considering the fact you lost?
The fact that they were missing 6 starters essentially
Mm-hmm.
is a positive, but the line is still a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I realize that Reef is coming back, but you're still going to start Hill or O'Neill, one of the two, and they're not good.
Yep.
And it isn't like Compton was a world beater when he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last we saw him, he was getting destroyed. Just constantly up the middle. I don't know. They're going to have to throw the ball probably 50 times a game to win. And we'll see what Kurt's got.
John?
I think that O'Neill is greater than Hill.
I don't
think
disagree.
Hill is, what?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I think if moving forward, when Reef comes back, you stay with Hill, maybe stay with O'Neill, maybe see if Hill is worth a crap at guard. I don't know. I am still upset. What made me most upset was you make Drew Brees make a mistake, and you have to make him pay. And then we turn around and arguably our best player on offense or on the team makes a mistake and gives the ball right back. And that's what probably made me the most upset, because we were about to put our foot on their throats going into halftime, and we didn't. We totally dropped the ball, literally and figuratively. And so I don't feel good about it. I mean, going forward, now we got to win most of our remaining 8 games, but I'm not into moral victories on this one. We had them. In the words of Dennis Green, we had them and we let them off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I read a couple things. Well, I listened to Barrero essentially bury him and say that, you know what, that just doesn't happen to good teams. You got your ass kicked, you have to play better.
Could you hear Barrero?
Yeah, I could. I think it was at the very tail end of his ability to speak, but and certainly I think there's something to that. I mean, you're down 4 even after the turnover happened, which was a terrible play. You're down 4 points.
Yep.
And
getting the ball.
And it was 30-13. Going in the fourth quarter. I mean that you just got smoked in the second half, and and so I think that there's something to that. The good teams, you can't just curl up in the fetal position, as Brewer would say, when something goes against you like that.
Can we talk about time management? And
we're awful.
I wasn't that offended by it.
Really?
Honestly. No, I wasn't.
Yeah, we're not good.
You just turned the ball over and they went the other way and put 7 points up on you.
I'm not talking just at the end of the first half.
Oh.
What about the end of the game?
Where we were more or less just playing like we had the lead and not being anxious. Even
Let's
though we were
huddle
down
up
by
when we're
4
at the
scores.
goal line and we're going to run a QB sneak anyways. Like, what are you doing? You just wasted 25 seconds.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of that wasn't Kirk's he just thought he could sneak it in. It was supposed to be a handoff to Latavius, but he thought he could just get in. You know what I'm
everybody
saying?
knew that it was going to be a sneak attack.
Yeah. That's and
really, Dave? Because did you watch the all 22 on that too?
I got it on the DVR ready to go.
I'm sure you do. You're so smart.
The other thing that I've been thinking about since the game is about Cousins. And God, he looks stupid sometimes. He just the one that he fumbled with he can make the throws. He can absolutely stand back there and make the throws. But the turnovers that he makes at times are disturbing to me.
Yeah.
His awareness in the pocket at times is disturbing to me.
I think the cut Cousins crowd here is really stepping up. We got a new guy, Mr. Negative.
As long as the defense can carry us, he's good enough. He's absolutely good enough to get us over the edge. But the defense has got to play well, because I trust him to be able to push the offense down the field and be productive for the most part, because he can make the throws. Like Bradford in that first game last year. He can stand back there and make the throws. But, God, does he make some dumb mistakes sometimes.
Just like
Check down Sam. You got to protect him.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, now I think that was the stat this morning on KFan was that Kirk's like passing percentage under duress is absolutely horseshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that interception, that pick six that went the other way, fine. Diggs' fault. But God, you just think about all the big time quarterbacks. Does that shit ever happen to them? Ever? It's not it's about protecting the football. You know what I mean? I mean the coverage was tight to begin with. He was throwing it forward a yard, maybe. I mean, it's just not very good. You know.
To answer your question, big time quarterbacks, all time greats. It happened to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he got okay, blindsided. Yeah, he got hit in the back and he fumbled, but
it doesn't happen very often though.
No, and that wasn't, twinkle toes in the backfield, flick it forward, and you have miscommunication with your wide receiver, and they return it for a pick six.
Right.
I mean, that was a decision that he made.
I would guess I was more upset about the fourth down pass to Treadstone over the middle.
Oh, that was God, I'm done with that guy.
Oh, the helmet toss.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm freaking done with him.
Yeah.
Time to bring somebody else in. Maybe
Still
maybe a local kid.
He doesn't bring anything to the table.
No.
What does Treadwell bring to the table?
Who did we play the game before this? John? Who did we play last week?
We defeated
Arizona?
the New York Football Jets.
Oh yeah,
The
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah.
Treadwell played a halfway decent game against the Jets.
Sure.
And you see that promise, and then we come home, and he doesn't even look like he wants to be there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then the stupid fucking penalty that gave them 15 more yards. Just
Yep.
get off the field. Be mad.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just
Yes.
get off the field.
Throw your helmet like a dumbass on the sideline.
It's to the point with him. I mean, he was such a high draft pick. I feel like it's like a baseball player who's hitting 200 and you get excited the fact that he hits a single.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Byron Buxton.
Yeah, I mean, it's compensation for the fact that you want a guy to be good when he's not.
Okay, last thing on this game, and I don't know how the NFL rules on this, but how did the Saints get away with having two guys with mics in their headphones or the speaker in their headphones? It's a weird
Speaker
deal.
in their helmet?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Did Taysom Hill have the green sticker on his
Yeah,
helmet?
yeah.
Okay.
That was a huge thing on the Twitter the other night, and
I would assume that they have to shut that one off. Do they? Who knows?
yeah.
I thought they did. I actually was under the assumption, and I could be totally wrong, that they actually take those earpieces out and they're interchangeable. So, like, if Drew Brees would have got hurt, they would have went to his helmet, pulled that out, and put it in Taysom or Teddy Bridgewater's helmet.
All right.
I don't know.
Very interesting
We'd
to
have
see
to
how
look
they'd
into it
rule
more.
onto that, but
Yeah.
maybe check into that Bounty Gate.
Well,
style.
I'm sure Sean Payton would never cheat.
Never.
Never in a million.
No.
Absolutely
Never.
not. That guy is as straight-laced as anybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. John, what are you going to be for Halloween this week?
You're looking at it.
You're doing that two nights in a row?
Yeah, I'm too old to try to, have multiple costumes. I'm all in on one.
Okay.
From now on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Train, what about you?
I haven't given a lot of thought to it, to be totally honest.
Well, it's tomorrow.
I know. Claire's going to be a kitty cat.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, don't know if I'm going to have a costume or not.
You're going to also probably be a cat?
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
I'm sure he will be. I'm guessing Melissa has something already worked up.
Probably.
And he has no idea what's going to happen.
That's probably true.
Probably true.
That's probably true.
Derek?
I have 0 plans. How about you, Dave?
Me too. 0 plans. I have no obligations to hand out candy, nothing like
Nope, I got nothing.
that. So, it's
I
going to be
think
wonderful.
you two should dress up as candy cane witches and hit the bar scene and see what happens. Don't shave either.
I don't know what a candy cane witch is.
I'm not really sure either.
Why don't you Google it and find out?
Yeah.
Nope.
John makes it sound like it sucks to be you guys that you don't know.
But it's going to pique your interest.
Maybe later. Maybe later. All right, let's hop into some fantasy football, shall we, boys?
Mm-hmm.
All right, looking at the Week 8 recap, brought to you by Fake Jerseys from China.
Why not?
Your 1 and 5 on your shoulder are completely offset.
That's fine.
Okay, just making sure you do.
That's just, hey, however you got it over here. How many weeks?
Actually, I have a great lady from China. She can get it to you in 1 week.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Jeez, does it even go on a boat?
I don't know.
Must not.
That's the best $20 you spent.
Exactly.
All right, let's start in the seniors division, where the dominance continued. I'm surprised he doesn't have a laser light show going behind him right now. The Jeff Bottom Grief Top defeats the Heartbreak Kid 110.5 to 108.8. Johnny's big player was Stephon Diggs, 22.9, but really it was White last night strolling into the end zone to get that W.
Look at him grinning ear to ear.
I almost kissed a man last night. I was so happy when James White scored. I probably would have done way worse if had the opportunity been presented. I was so happy.
What is that, 2 wins on Tim Legg this year? You or
One
is
and
this
one.
split? Ooh. You know, that's going to come down to a tiebreaker later in the year, and you're not going to win that.
Yeah, probably.
Because
But,
it always does.
There's only a couple of things that are better than what happened last night, and that's not good enough for that's not radio etiquette, or podcast etiquette. But yeah, it was very satisfying. Let's put it that way.
All right, let's hop over to the Caro division, where the 6-2 Heart Attack defeated the Peppy Kids 136.1 to 128.5. Just Adam, first week that his running back wasn't his top scorer.
Yeah, he still had like
It's huge.
30
Yep,
points.
But
He's a freaking monster, man.
And
He's
he,
really
he
good.
could have had 6 more.
I know. He only scored 1 touchdown. He still had 30 points. And bummer for Phil, misses $10 by 5 points.
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah,
Tough.
outscored by Derek, very close. And hats off to Phil. He's got a solid team this year, but man, that division it's tough. We might have 2 wild cards come out of the same division this year. Very possible.
could happen.
But what Phil needs is the other crappier divisions to all beat up on each other. He can't have someone go 4-0 in a division because he'll have a tough time competing with third record if that's the case.
By crappier divisions, you do mean Mankato and Senior, right?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
Yes, he does.
Not running away from it.
We are garbage, hot garbage. But you know who's the leader of that hot garbage? You're looking at him, baby.
Woo!
Woo!
All
if
right.
you don't like it, learn to love it.
Let's hop into that Mankato division. We had a great matchup between the Lords at 3-5, defeating the 3-5, now 3-5, Preston Plants Inc. 111.8 to 107.7. What a matchup! Patriots D putting up 26.6 points for Grieve. Just not enough. Mac throws down for the Trainster, 27.9.
He's looking like a stud.
Yes, he is. He's
Huge
on.
Huge pickup.
Yeah, he's on bye, which is unfortunate because I can't afford to not win. But
You just barely beat the line also, which is huge to get that extra.
You know, you made this proclamation 2 weeks ago. You said my division sucks. I have a chance. Just gotta win the games.
It's 110 points plus 4 weeks in a row, and I've got 2 or 3 losses out of those 4 weeks. So I got to keep it rolling. I have a tough week this week with David Johnson and Marlon Mack on bye.
And no running backs on the market.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
But you still have a spiraling Jeff, who we don't know what he's going to do on the waiver wire this week, and we
Well,
know his
check
team
at all.
can be
Anybody?
Haven't talked to him. Oh, he did text me. Non-fantasy football related. So he's still alive.
some sexual.
Was he
No.
Bet it was.
telling you he was outside staring at you?
No. He's found another lover.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah. Lives with her is what I hear.
Whoa.
Already?
It's love.
Didn't he just get a dog?
She got a dog. They got a dog.
Oh.
I don't know.
Somebody got a dog.
We need him on. I need to hear how the world turns.
This was-
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that when he was on the podcast, that was from their house, and they had the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's why I need him on here. You know, one thing that really gets me excited is drama. I love drama. I love a good Jersey Shore, the Hills, Laguna Beach, OC drama.
See it in
I
your
need
face.
this guy to get on here.
Wow. Olaf. Speaking of Jeff, taking the L this week, dropping a 4-4 on the year. The two girlies, one cup, 106, getting destroyed by 13 by Soup du Jour, now 6-2, 119.1.
I'm going to have to look back at the stats. I have a feeling, I think I'm up there also, but in comparing shoulda ones and ones, I think Trevor's been on the right side of that as much or more than anybody since the 12-team era.
Yeah.
Now, 119, obviously nothing wrong with 119 points. But 6 wins, 5 shoulda ones. He's got a very solid team. There's been years where it's been more lopsided than that, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Damn straight. Let's go. Max Aponte coming off of sharing. We broke bread with Max Aponte and shared the bottle. And apparently your paralysis rubbed off on him, Derek, because he was able to defeat the now 4-4, blame it on the kombucha, 99.9 to 92.
I hear Drew turned down a last-second trade offer right before Sunday that would have got him a victory.
Really?
Yep. I don't know if.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that he was looking for a running back, and he just couldn't pull the trigger.
Huh.
Oh my
Look
God,
at that.
Drew! You had one job. I gave you one job this week, and that was to beat Max. And of course, just like in your sex life, you came up short. Except for the 3 times that you created 3 beautiful kids. But every other
Congrats
time.
on the sex.
Yeah, congratulations on the sex, by the way, and the newest edition. But God dang it, Drew! One job.
Drew falling to the number 10 spot in our power rankings this week.
Dun, dun, dun.
Low of the week at 92 points.
It was
a
the
high
low of the
low, but
coming
Where
straight.
was he like 3 weeks ago, Matt?
uh,
Was he up
4.
in the
I think
top
I think he peaked at 4.
Story of his life.
Coming out of the weekend, Monday morning, get to my desk. Who do I have breaking news email from in the Busch League MN inbox? But Andrew Vogt.
You didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Good morning, Talking Busch. I fucking hate fantasy football. My response back from the Talking Busch inbox was, easy on the language, killer. Naturally, Andrew comes back with, I cannot believe that we only have 4 bench spots, or we have such little bench spots. I have 4 guys on bye. I got 6 guys on IR. There's nobody on the waiver wire. I cannot win in this league. So fuck fantasy football. I have to get the F-bombs out. I said, take it up with your commissioner at the winter meetings. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well.
But keep those
Sucks
emails
to suck,
coming.
Drew.
Yep.
To
It's all relative, right? I mean, we're all playing the same game by the same rules.
Yep.
And Drew seems to be worse at it than most.
TalkingBushPodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up with all your worries every weekend, or we can help making fantasy football decisions for you all weekend long.
What was that email again, Dave? I don't know if I have it on hand here.
TalkingBushPodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
All one word.
In your guys' opinion, like you look at his lineup, okay? I'm looking at it right now. Obviously, he's going to keep Team Chargers together because that's basically been his bell cow. But he could have let go of Calvin Ridley, and I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelash because Calvin Ridley's so hit and miss. So, Drew, email us why you didn't drop Calvin Ridley, especially with your wide receiver depth minus Will Fuller.
Is he playing right now? Calvin Ridley was injured at one point, I know.
He's back.
He was,
Is he?
but he's
He's back.
back.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm just wondering what his worry was, especially when the Falcons were on bye.
I think it's because he's one of Matt Ryan's targets in the red zone because you know he
Yeah.
doesn't throw to Julio.
Right.
But yes, I think there was plenty of options for him to not have players get zeros 2 weeks in a row, and
Yeah.
his mistakes of just not having service and not paying attention are gonna just take a toll like they have been the last
There's a
5
reason
years.
he's the dumpster fire.
That's true.
Exactly right.
Who else do we got to cover?
Can we get to the big one of the week?
This is an interesting matchup in the junior division. We had Who's Your Daddy, 133.9, defeating the Big Hoss, 110.8. Decent, dethroned me from my 3-game win streak.
It's a big, hairy American winning machine.
It didn't help that the official game day button on Friday night was Who's Your Daddy.
Sure was.
Foreshadowing.
It was. Drops the Big Hoss to 3-5. The Who's Your Daddy 5-3. Patrick, my homeboy, 26 points again. Decent. The one KC receiver that Derek doesn't have,
It's true.
Sammy Watkins, was outshined Patrick, my homeboy, 26.7 points.
Yeah, it made me a little nervous watching that. Thankfully I had more people going.
It's fucking Green Bay. Fucking Green Bay. That's
Green Bay is right.
sit on Green Bay. Terrible. Terrible.
If you don't have Devontae Adams, you don't have shit because
Yep.
it almost cost me the game. I mean, I feel your pain, Dave.
It happens.
That's terrible.
But we had a huge week actually overall. Total fantasy points scored 1,365.1 points. That's a 113.76 average. That's almost the highest that we've ever had since I've been taking note. Only 4 teams above the average, which just means that we had a few really outliers in the group. Highest, Adam, 136.1. The low was Drew. That's 2 weeks in a row, and the low for him. That's a fine. That should be double fine.
That's terrible.
You're kind of a weird group in the top performers from Week 8. Top quarterback, Deshaun Watson, 31 points.
He looked real good Thursday.
Freaking Harmon.
They also made a trade I saw to boost
Yeah,
his.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Marius Thomas.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
16 for 20 for only 239 yards, but 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
That's crazy. Hell of a score. Top running back this week, James Croner, 35.7 points.
Who?
Who?
Connor?
Connor.
Sure.
Okay. James Connor, yep.
You know who I was talking about.
Yep.
24 rushes for 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got 5 passes for 66 additional yards.
Phil
Yep.
continues to ride and die with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't
have
think
a
he's.
question for Derek. Are you now a little worried that Emmanuel Sanders is the number 1 receiver in Denver?
I think
and
he's
that he
been number
will
1 all.
receive double.
He's been number 1 all season. I mean, if you watch their games, he's certainly targeted the most. They're rolling coverage towards him. I don't know if Demaryius Thomas still has anything left. I guess
I
we'll
don't
see
think
with
so.
the competent
I think it's
quarterback. But
name only.
I
Top-
guess we'll find out.
Yep.
Top wide receiver this week was Marvin Jones Jr., 27.2 points. He had 7 receptions for 117 yards and 2 tutters.
On Trevor's bench.
that'll be an
Ouch.
interesting play now too, because I saw they traded Golden Tate.
They did.
Mhm.
Yeah, so who does Trevor have Kenny Galladay too?
Fucking
Or
probably.
who-
I believe
no,
Grieve has
no Galladay.
Has Galladay.
Yep.
Grieve has Galladay, so yeah, that could help him a little bit.
Yeah, it should.
So
A lot more targets, I would think.
I would guess so, too. Top tight end this week was Travis Kelce, 16.9 points. He had 6 receptions for 79 yards and a touchdown.
Just another day at the office.
oh, good for you.
He had 10 targets, which is right up there with most people's second tight end or second wide receiver. So, and even a lot of the number ones actually this week.
Mhm.
So, pretty crazy there that there's enough balls to be passed around that he's getting them.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Sammy
Said
Watkins
balls
is
passed around.
Sammy Watkins is the leading scorer. Yet my Chiefs still score enough to
Right.
put up 133.
And then the Patriots defense, like we talked about a little bit earlier, 26.6 points.
I had a waiver claim in on him this week.
I did too.
Yep.
On who? Who was it?
Patriots
The
D.
Patriots D.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So did I.
Decent stat line: 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, 3 sacks, and 6 points allowed.
I got a little
Pretty
bit.
damn good.
I got a little bit nervous on that Monday night game with my match against Grieve because I was lucky that the Patriots were just not afraid of the Bills at all.
True.
You were nervous.
They had no. I mean, well, I was playing against Gronk.
John was puckered for 3
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, man. You couldn't have fit a toothpick up my rectum. I was so puckered. I mean, it was such a chess match. It was James White would get the ball, then Edelman would get the ball, then James White would get the ball, and it was just back and forth. And I was down by 4, and I'm like, God, just not my night. And then Chris Hogan, thank you, buddy, steps out of bounds, no big deal. 1 yard line, punch it in. Fuck you, Tim Lang.
Oh, I love it. You know, pretty good overall week for everybody in the league. Like we said, decent average. Transaction-wise, from Thursday on, nothing really out of the blue. Jeff dropped Larry Fitzgerald. Matt picked him up, threw him on the bench.
They scored 24 points, something
Yeah.
like
Had
that.
his breakout.
Yeah.
They're saying he's healthy. We'll see.
We'll see.
John dropped the potent Jets D for Ben Roethlisberger.
Do you finally have yourself a quarterback?
I do, and I wanted to basically use Roethlisberger against him because that's what happened to me in our first matchup is he picked up or had Ben Roethlisberger and totally screwed me with that. So kind of a little retribution.
John, you were the leading guy in the on the waivers this last week. You outdueled the Jeffrey King.
Well, now we all know why. I mean, he's got a soap opera going on in his personal life, and it makes sense why we haven't seen him or seen him doing anything. So I bet he'll be back now that he's got love in his life again.
I don't know. He'll going to continue to free fall.
Well, that's that too.
You wonder why those transactions are at 3 a.m.
Right. Well, I mean, if they start having sex at 10, I would assume that the transaction is going to happen at 10:03.
Right.
And that's a whole minute and a half to clean up.
True. I do regret not picking up Larry Fitzgerald. I thought about it on Sunday. Matt, great pickup. I think it's going to work out for you now with their new offensive coordinator.
We'll see. I'm hopeful. I also have him and David Johnson. And so 2 Cardinals, that's a terrible offense.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the wrong
Yeah.
team to bet on.
Right.
Maybe grab their quarterback, too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right, in the pick of last
Sorry. Got to vent one more thing.
Yeah.
God damn it. If the freaking Seahawks would just throw the football.
Why would they throw the football?
I don't know, because Russell Wilson throws a touchdown every 3 passes.
Well,
He's got,
just 'cause
he's
they
got
don't throw it
9
that often.
passing touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. He's thrown the ball like 35 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's got 9 touchdown passes. God dang it.
Just throw the ball.
Have
see
you
Just
watched how
freaking throw
solid
it.
their run game is?
Yeah.
They're mowing people over right now. Chris Carson,
They just
stud.
don't need to do anything. Run the ball.
Russell
run the
Wilson
ball,
is
run
their
the ball.
best player.
Just saying.
Yes, he is.
And he turns around and hands it off to their second best player.
Behind their third best player, which is their offensive line.
Right.
All right. In the pick of this last week, Matt and Derek went 5-1. I went 4-2,
Zip,
and Johnny went 3-3.
Feels like we're getting better at this.
That was my comment this afternoon.
Yeah. Derek's at 61.9% winning or picking right percentage on the year. I'm at 59.2. Matt's at 54.17, and that was up a few percentage from last week. And John, you're still at 47.92, half right half the time. I mean, that's pretty good for you.
Par for the course.
Yep. All right,
Well, you know, it doesn't matter. I won last week. That's all that matters. I picked myself. I won. Who cares?
I picked you too. You know who didn't pick you?
I
You
know
know
you did. Who didn't pick me?
the one guy who the one pick that he got wrong, Matt Train.
Yep,
What an
that's
idiot.
happens.
I still
That's
went
what
5-1.
happens, man.
I still
You
went
don't-
5-1. See,
I'm
you
the
were
best.
the reason why the Gophers aren't good. step on the throats and let's go. Score 100. Be
I'm
perfect.
the reason.
Never pick against the excellence of execution, Matt.
True. Let's start with we have a lot of key matchups this week,
We do.
Yes, we do.
but I think we're going to start with what I think to be maybe one of the best. I think there was a name to this game last year. We have the 6-2 Heart Attack going up against the 5-3 Who's Your Daddy. I think it was called the Hartman Bowl last year. The loser had to
I thought it
change
was
their
Love Your
names.
Cousins Bowl.
Well, they do that too.
Yeah.
We have
Both seem
Speechless.
obvious.
Derek,
Both-
Derek
both
for
seem
once is
obvious.
Speechless. I can't even think of
it's
anything.
also a pick'em this week on the line. So, I mean, I think Derek's got the firepower to do this, to beat Adam. They keep saying bet the Chiefs until they lose. So I got to go Derek. We got the junior division still very strong, maybe one of the strongest leagues in the Busch League this year.
I will admit, historically, I have not been good against Adam, especially recently.
1-4.
I did not have Pat Mahomes on any of those teams.
It's true.
I'm taking myself. We're going to go in there, we're going to kick his ass, and we're going to take number 1 in the power rankings.
Love it. Matt, who do you got in this one?
Obviously a very good matchup, number 1 versus number 2 in the power rankings. I'm checking out the matchups here, and Kansas City against Cleveland. Shitty team, good defense, but can't always keep them in the game.
We got a coaching shift up in Cleveland this week as well.
Did we?
Yeah.
I didn't catch
Hugh
that.
Jackson's gone.
Jackson.
Really?
Todd
Offensive
Haley's
coordinator's
Where
gone.
have you been?
Oh, man.
Fuck.
Okay. Deshaun Watson coming into his own. Todd Gurley, you can't stop him. Adam Thielen, number 1 wide receiver in the league. I'm going Harmon.
Which one?
Oh, sorry. Adam. The heart attack.
That's terrible.
Dave, did you pick?
I
Yeah,
did.
you
I
did
picked
pick,
Derek.
right? Okay.
Hottest league in football.
I'm gonna fall on the sword for you, Derek. Normally, when I bet against Adam, he always proves me wrong. I don't think there's been a time he hasn't proven me wrong. I'm going with Adam on this one. I'm falling on the sword.
That's terrible.
In theory, though, it might not be. Think about that. Reverse psychology.
Potential championship matchup right here.
Potentially. Potentially. I'm going to say whoever has more points between Frank Gore and Josh Gordon, that's who wins this game.
Wild cards.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to the next huge matchup of the week. We're going to go with the. Let me check my stat line here. The 6-2 Soup de Jour versus the 4-4 Peppy Kids. This is huge for that second wild card spot. Phil can pull through on this one and then maybe get another win throughout. I think he's going to have a pretty good shot. This game right now is Phil being favored by 5. We know that Soup doesn't set a lineup until Thursday about 6:15. So plenty of opportunity for him to pop it back. I think Trevor rides it high. He's been plateauing the last few weeks, so there is opportunity for him to drop to the bottom of that roller coaster. But his team's been playing pretty well. I'm going to go with Soup.
Yeah, huge game for Phil. He's in a position at 4-4 where he's and 4th in the power rankings where he's one of the teams that probably at this point looks like he deserves a spot in the playoffs. But he's got to win games in his division, and he's got to hope that the other divisions kind of, that either someone runs away with them or you don't. I mean, that you just don't have a rally in one of the other 2 divisions. So I'm going to take Phil. I'm just not, Trevor. I've picked against Trevor a lot this year just because I have doubted him on every turn, and I still think that there's a bottom to the roller coaster, like Dave says. So I like Phil's team. I'm going Phil.
Love it.
I don't disagree. I like Phil's team, and as long as Connor is going, I still like it. He's still getting massive projections on ESPN.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Phil.
I am going to go with that Trevor is going to ride Fitzmagic into this week because he has, I think he does have the cap space depending on some other variables. Carson Wentz is on a bye, even though he hasn't played Carson Wentz in 3 weeks.
Yep.
But he's going to grab Fitzmagic. He's going to make an adjustment at wide receiver, and he is going to continue on his trend up. And Trevor's going to win this one.
Love it. Good choice.
Just seems like there's so many holes on that roster, but they keep putting up points. Lamar Miller,
Yep.
Tyler Boyd.
I'm getting sick of Tyler Boyd,
Yeah.
by the way.
I hear you.
Yeah. AJ was in a walking boot this week.
Oh, they got the bye week this week. Plenty of time.
Okay.
Just looked like
Okay.
turf toe. We'll be okay.
Yeah. That's easy to fix.
Yep. No problems.
In a matchup of the senior division, we have the 2-6 Heartbreak Kid going up against the 4-4 Team of Ponte. This game is Max with a 4-point advantage in the spread right now. I think if Max is going to roll a little bit of luck still from sharing that nice, delicious 2010 darkness with Derek and I on Friday, I'm going Max in this one by +10.
Yeah, I like I like Max's team all of a sudden. He made the Chubb edition is going to be big for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to fill in some of those gaps. I'll take Max.
I'm going Tim Lang. He's averaging 105 points a game, and been on the wrong side of some high scoring affairs. I think there's at 2-6. He's had a bad kind of a tough go of it this year. I think that team's better than what we give him credit for. I'm going Lang.
I really don't care. I hope they both get gonorrhea and rotten hell. Yeah, I hope they tie and screw them.
Well, you probably would rather have Lang win because Max is
Yeah,
4
I'm
and
going
4.
to choose Tim because I need Max to lose. So, yeah, Tim. I don't like this pick, by the way, just so everybody knows. I feel dirty making it.
All right. You're getting bullied into making picks. I love it.
I am.
All right, in the junior division, we have the 3-5 Big Hoss taking on the 4-4 Blame It on the Kombucha. Dave is 6-5 in the last 11. He's 1-0 on the year against Drew. Everybody on Drew's team is probably going to get hurt in the next 3 or 4 days, as we've witnessed. Plus, he's got a couple of bye spots.
Breaking news sounder.
Uh-oh.
Drew must be listening live.
Your ass better call somebody.
Drew must be listening live. He has updated his roster fully, and he appears to have Cooper Kupp in now.
Yeah, he had him in before.
Okay.
So Drew is a 1-point favorite right now. Decent. I'd say it's a pick 'em. Like I've said before, bet on yourself. Bet on your friends. Dave Pikus.
Yeah, I actually like you this week, Dave. Drew's kind of returning back to his dumpster fire ways. You've had a decent 4 weeks now. Even this week, you put up 110. You played a really good team. I go Dave.
Oh, Drew, obviously this game rides completely on what the Chargers are able to do against the Seattle Seahawks. And as I mentioned earlier, the fact that they just chew up clock in Seattle and don't let the offense get on the field is not a good sign. Matt Breida, who the hell knows what is going on in the San Francisco backfield right now?
I don't know. Maybe Mozart should get some carries.
Yeah, maybe he will. And I'm going to go Dave.
Drew is back to his old ways. Dave, don't pick against your friends, even though Drew is my friend as well. But Drew's a dumpster fire. So Dave.
All right.
All right. Do we even have any more games to talk about? Jeez.
We have one
No,
left.
I don't think so.
We do.
Or two.
Oh, we do?
We have games left. So we have the Jeff Bottom Grieve Top taking on the Breast Implants Inc., a.k.a. the Dolls, a.k.a. It's Alyssa's Team Now, a.k.a. hashtag Cambria. Hashtag no free ads. Grieve is a 4-point favorite, according to the ESPN calculations.
How do you feel about that, John?
Who am I playing again?
Grieve. The
Number-
Dolls.
It doesn't matter who I'm playing this week. Because I'm the cream of the crop, and I always rise to the top. Hashtag what's up, Alyssa? Just so everybody knows, I'm like Space Mountain. I might be the oldest ride in the park, but I always have the longest line. So, what do you think I feel about this matchup? I think I'm going to win. That's all there is to it. So, I'm picking myself. We're going. We're doing it. We're doing it, people.
I love it. Well, I'm going to have to roll with that, maybe reciprocate the reach around at Johnny here for his pick for me. I'm going John 316.
Double Dutch rudder. It's not gay.
Nope.
I actually picked John, too. I don't think I'll pick Grieve the rest of the year. He's not proven anything. Number 12 in the power rankings, and he deserves it.
Averaging 94 points a week.
So, John, I got your back.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a nice defensive week last week that saved his score. I think Adrian Peterson has found life again. You know, the Mark Ingram deal. That's the Kamara show. I mean, it just
They're
is.
giving him his Maroc on the one now.
Yes, I mean it's.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, that whole thing about
Thank you,
them running
1
Ingram
week.
into the ground because he's in the last year of his contract. That ain't happening.
Do you think
I'm
that
going
Kamara
John.
just was spot injured and they didn't like him
That
for
1
that
week, I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
And they just didn't want to disclose anything
Yeah.
too bad?
You
'Cause
know,
he
or
still played. He just
yep,
wasn't
or
involved.
or were they trying to set it up? Teams to try to game plan for Ingram, game plan less for Kamara, just set it up for later. I don't
True.
know.
Watching that game, off topic, but they run the same damn play every time. They just run everybody downfield and let Kamara do the little out in either direction and try and cover him. And if you want to collapse on the underneath, they'll pop it over the top.
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't seem like rocket science. They've just got the people to be able to pull it off. Nobody can cover the guy.
No, I mean Kendricks is a good linebacker, good in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Couldn't stay with him.
Very true. All right, and then in the last.
I took John on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
write
around
that
the
down,
horn.
Drew.
That's a 4 for John. 4 for John. The last matchup of the week, we have the 3-5 Lords taking on the 4-4 2 Girlies 1 Cup, coming out of this dumpster fire of a Mankato division. Matt is 7-2 in the last 9. Jeff is a
10-point favorite.
10-point favorite.
Biggest spread of the week.
Full disclosure, Matt, have you set your lineup this week yet?
I have. I have. And the problem that I have is I've got David Johnson and Marlon Mack on bye, so I'm having to rely on Eckler and Ito Smith. Sounds like Melvin Gordon is going to be back, which is going to hurt. Unless Eckler hits a big one, I'm going to be at a severe disadvantage. So I need a big week from one of my wide receivers in order to pull this out. But I think it probably happens, so I'm going to pick myself.
All right.
Juju is due.
It's true. Johnny, who you got?
Jeff, just so you know, I just want you to remember that I love you. You're my homeboy. But you have As the World Turns happening over in South Minneapolis, and Matt is just firing on all cylinders. He's averaging 105, 110 points. You can't seem to walk and chew gum at the same time and manage a fantasy football team. So Matt has my pick this week.
All right, 7-2 lifetime. And just to clarify, Matt averages 103 points a week, and Jeff averages 122.
Yes. But over the last 4,
True.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but
Very front heavy.
I imagine since the Kamara trade, it's not as good.
Right. And Matt, just make sure to lock your doors and your windows because Jeff is outside in the bushes watching, waiting.
Turkey.
I don't know if
Creeping
anybody
and
noticed this, but Jeff is currently starting 2 Oakland Raider running backs.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
2.
Not even the good ones.
Barkley's on bye. Jeff's ridden him all year. I got to go with Matt.
7-2 in the last 9. Well, lifetime. Trent gets this one easy. Jeff continues to spiral.
So everybody's on the underdog. Interesting.
Love it. I think that's the whole deal, right?
It is indeed.
That does it.
Wow. I believe maybe the breaking news sounder.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
I think we have a new email in the Talking Busch podcast inbox at gmail.com.
We do. We have a loyal listener. It's AJ at AJ Hadley emailed the inbox here. Hope he doesn't mind. Hope he doesn't mind that we said his name on the podcast. But thanks AJ for listening. He has a question for us, and the headliner is collusion ? ! Exclamation point. I think he's asking us if we think this is collusion in a league that he's in. All right. So, Team A, which is not making the playoffs, wants to trade Pat Mahomes to Team B, who is in second place, who would give Andrew Luck and Kenyon Drake.
Nope.
Signed from a big fan.
I would vote that trade down as a commissioner every time.
I am not a veto person. I would let that trade go. Andrew Luck has been a lot better. And Kenyon Drake hasn't been that bad lately either.
Yeah. Man, tough to let Patrick Mahomes go. I mean, it depends on what his roster looks like. If he had holes at running back, Drake is not a great hole filler, I would say, by any means. But if he's got a hole at running back, then I can see that, where it could be plausible. Just knowing what we know about those two, the guy that's getting Mahomes is probably coming out on the better end of this.
But that's not how you veto down a trade.
Exactly. If someone's intending to cheat, that should be vetoed. If it's one guy just being smarter than the other guy, then that's got to be let go.
And what does your record have to be at this point for you really to be out of it? I mean, if you have 3 wins, you're still in it. If you have 2, you might still be in it.
Mm-hmm.
So does the person have 0 wins or 1 win? Then maybe that's a question. But
I would vote probably without knowing. I would say it's probably not collusion. I mean, it is a little lopsided. It's probably not terribly lopsided. Depends on what the rosters look like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I would say if it was like a Dynasty Empire League, maybe collusion, just because you don't know what Kenyon Drake is going to do in the future. If it's just a year-to-year league like ours, I would say Andrew Luck has been very, very good. Not quite Mahomes, but still good. And Kenyon Drake.
Based on our scoring, Andrew Luck is the number 2 quarterback.
You have to allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
I guess I didn't know that he was that.
He's had some
that far up. I thought he was
massive weeks recently.
Maybe.
AJ, here's my advice. If it were Drew Vogt and Adam Hartman trading, I would veto it in a heartbeat because those two are ass clowns, and I don't like either of their teams. But if it's someone that, you think it's probably even, go ahead and let it happen.
Can we just be clear that I would never trade Pat Mahomes? Never.
There's another good answer, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 21 and a half a game for Andrew Luck versus 27 for Pat Mahomes. I think it just totally depends on what the other guy's running back situation is.
I mean, I don't blame anybody for making that either trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, but Pat Mahomes has just been in another universe.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it tough for me.
But I think the big thing with the Chiefs in general is, like I said before, bet the Chiefs until they lose, because we don't know how they're going to bounce back. So
Who's the running back?
Kareem?
Drake.
Kenyon Drake
right.
or
Oh, it was Drake.
It was Drake. Okay.
Yeah. And he's not good, but he's scored more lately.
He averages 11.9 points a week. He had 22.5 last week. So
Think about it. You're filling 2 holes.
Yeah.
well now
Yeah.
Derek really likes filling 2 holes.
Yeah. I say no collusion. Thanks for the email, AJ.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everybody
Thanks.
give AJ
Spread
a
the word,
follow
buddy.
on Twitter. Pretty good. AJ3 Hadley. Great. Also on the Instagram. Put some cute photos up all the time. He's always doing something.
Oh, good for you.
I don't think Derek knows who AJ Hadley
Good for
is.
you, AJ, whoever you are.
All right, well, that kind of brings us to the end here, boys. The Vikes have some shitty team this weekend. We'll see how they bounce back against
Detroit.
I was
Oh,
going to say, we
pretty
really
good.
don't know who they play.
Yeah, Detroit.
them. And
Fresh off trading their best receiver.
Yeah.
yep.
You know, I don't know. John, how, are you just dropping Matt Stafford straight up now, or?
I don't know yet. I have some things to decide. I don't want to, but lately it seems like the Lions, not necessarily in the Seattle game, but like they're just getting down, so he's having to throw. He's getting garbage time. So he is getting 15 to 20 points, which isn't great, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, good. All right, well, that kind of brings us to the end here, boys. Any other final thoughts? John?
My final thought is, who the Gophers got this weekend?
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. Well, if
At
this
Illinois.
is my last, just remember this: if this is my last show, I love you. I hate Wisconsin. Row the boat. Ski-U-Ma. Skol. Let's go, baby. 2-0 on the weekend.
Thanks, John. I'd like to thank Patrick Mahomes and Steve Bartman for being in studio with me tonight. And love you guys.